Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Scholar, and what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, it is my pleasure to present to you the class Scholar. Here we go. And welcome to the Skills Slide. If you are new to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of her skills. On the far right hand side where it says specials is all of, well, the specials that go with those skills. And then the column that says CD is the cooldown for each skill. And then next to that is charges, which is how many times you can use the skill. And then hits is how many times that skill will hit a creature or opponent in the world. And then the column damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course you have the passive at the bottom. And yes, there's a lot to talk about with that. So a few things to go over real quick is over in specials where the words are colored in red. If you look to the bottom left corner where it says not applied in arena, that's what that means. Super armor will work everywhere in the game, but those particular skills that give you super armor and forward guard will not work when you're in arena. So be aware of that. And that's pretty much it. Just pointing out that particle acceleration, is your heal skill, and it is the last thing that you get when you're leveling up your character, so it's very important to get that and use it when you can. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, let's move on to the top 8 PvE skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome. What I've done is I've taken all the skills in the column damage-PVE and organized them according to the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And the skill gravity press is your highest damaging skill. So there's another thing to ask, and that is, why is there things colored in green? And that is, in the game we can only take and use 8 skills at a time. You're free to mix and match whichever ones you like, but these are the ones that I'm recommending because of the damage percentage. So recoil would be the lowest one, but like I mentioned just a moment ago, you might want to swap out recoil for particle acceleration so you have more survivability with your heal. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the top 8 PvP skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome. What I've done is taken all the skills and now I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVP, with the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And gravity press continues to be your highest damaging skill. So we have a lot to cover in this section, and I'm going to just cover the basics, which is that people ask, what skills can I use that have super armor, because that's important to me when I do my PvP. Forward guard is really good too, and if you're wondering, well, what does super armor and forward guard mean, as we get to the player card section of this video, I have definitions at the bottom of what they mean, so don't worry, we're gonna get to it. But what's special about Scholar is that she has a lot of super armor. I mean, a lot. Usually I just tell people, oh, you got 3, that's it. But she has 6 super armor skills at the ready. But of course you can only use 3, and those are gravity press, attraction, and one small step. So personally, gravity press might be the one you want to start your attacks with because it hits the hardest and it gets your super armor going. And it has a teleport attached to it, so your call, but that's what I'd recommend there. And that's pretty much it for the basics. Let's move into talking about the passive. Now, before I read what the passive is all about, I also want to mention that there is a video I have after this, after I read it, that shows you what the passive looks like and how it's used, so we can apply what we just read to what you now see. Because boy, it got me going. I was confused, and now I think I have a really good handle on how Scholar's passive works. So what I've done is I've normally put in the box to the right of where it says passive how you activate the passive, and that's just a definition that you see in the game. How you activate it is through 2 skills, and I will go over what those skills are. To the right of that is 3 skills that are affected by the passive being active, and that is Attraction, Gravity Anchor, and Hammer Throw. The next line down is all skills damage is increased by 10% for 10 seconds when core actuation occurs, and I will explain that too. And of course, PvP damage taken is minus 20% for 10 seconds upon use of actuated gravity cores when moving. So I will explain what that means too. It's kind of like the what? I don't get it. So let's knock out the easy stuff first. Core actuation is what happens at the bottom, those damage percentages, and I will cover that too. But when your passive is happening, the attraction skill gets -1 off of its cooldown. So that's first thing, and it's great. It will happen a lot quicker. It's normally 9 seconds, but now it'll be 8 seconds. Gravity Anchor and Hammer Throw are the 2 skills you use to get the core actuation going. Excuse me. So what they're saying here is that when you start it up, the passive, then you have an option while the 2 spheres, which look like your hammers spinning around, are going. You have 2 options with these 2 skills, and I will show that in the video. So let's see, let's move down to core actuation. So 800% damage on hit upon actuation. So when you use the skill Hammer Throw or Gravity Anchor and it hits a creature, it does 800% damage. And then 300% damage and move speed -20% every 10 seconds for 10 for 10 seconds. So that affects what you threw the core actuators at. And then below that is 1200% damage on hit as gravity cores interlock upon the use of the skills below. So when you see it spinning, which is a huge thing for Scholar, you're gonna see that sucker spinning all the time. But if you use these skills, Recoil, Gravity Press, One Small Step, Partial Black Hole, Home Run, and Gravity Field, you get 1200% damage. So it's encouraging you to use those skills after you activated the passive through Hammer Throw or Gravity Anchor. And of course, 50% PvP damage per hit. The branch effects and skill damage increases not applied. So they just want to make that clear. Now, what I want to do is, you heard this, let's show you a video that kind of makes sense of it. So let me cue that up. Here we go. Okay, so at the bottom right corner is our skills that we're going to work with, and the first one on the right hand side over here is Hammer Throw and Gravity Anchor, then Hammer Throw right here, and then going from right to left is Attraction, Gravity Press, and we chose Gravity Field at the bottom, so the bottom row. So I want to show you what they meant by the core actuation on hammer location upon use. If you use one of the skills that starts it. So you see them spinning, that is it actuating. That's what you want. That's your passive in action right there. And what you can do is you can move that there, and you can do this right here to teleport, and that's attraction. So it's a good way to get to creatures. It's a good way to get out from a PvP scenario. You can throw it over there, do some fighting, and then, you know, hit that to teleport back to it. And the, let's see, the hammer throw, no, excuse me, the gravity press skill that lifts you up in the air, it's directional. You can choose where to go when you're jumping. Now, if you're close enough to this, to where the things are spinning, then it'll go right to it, as you saw. Otherwise, it won't. Now we have our creature, and yeah, there's no buff or anything that shows you how long the actuating lasts, but I did time it, and it's about 11 to 12 seconds. So that's how long it lasts. See how it damages? It's damaging them, but they're not going to stick around there and stay damaged unless there's a way you can do that, unless you can freeze them in place, but that, anyway. So you can throw your hammers there and teleport and come down on them. That is a skill. That's what you can do. That is what they meant by on hammer location upon use for gravity anchor and hammer throw. So now you know about those three things. You know, I do want to show you about the skill damage plus 10%, and that's why we have this guy here by himself. I'm trying to show you. See, it was 2,331, I believe. You can go back and pause. I'm trying to get a regular damage ability when it's not critical. Some days you want critical, and other days you just want to turn it off so you can see some numbers. There you go, 2151. So that's normal, right? If we actuate our hammers, which is getting them spinning, and then we use that skill again. So, no, still on critical. Let me see if I can switch to throwing. There we go. Throw it. He died. Poor guy. He's getting damaged while he's trying to run over to me. And now look, 23. So that's what I'm trying to show you, is that yes, 10% more damage does occur. You do have a damage increase when your hammers over there or the actuating cores are spinning. So you always want that to happen. And that's just a normal thing for a scholar, is you're expecting those cores to be spinning all the time, because that's what she does. Alright, and the only other thing is I'm using Gravity Field, which is one of the skills for the 1,200 damage while the cores are spinning. So I'm trying to show you what the use is of it, and that it does increase your damage when they are spinning. So I'm pretty sure we accomplished that. And now let's see what else we can do. Yeah, I was trying to see if I can get them all to be in one spot, but it's kind of tough. But I really like the fact you can use it to get away from things. So let's go ahead and return back now to the PvP slide. Here we go. And welcome back. So first thing I wanted to say is, when I showed you the 10% damage, it was at 2,300 per damage normal, and then I'm like, oh look, it's 2,300 now, and there's your 10% increase. I realized, wow, that didn't really show it very well, but if you look at the video and you look at the numbers, it really does increase. So take my word for it. Now, to recap, the two skills that activate your passive are Hammer Throw and Gravity Anchor. The image is the two cores spinning, and that's when you know your passive is active. From there, you can do many things, like teleport to it, or jump in the sky and move towards it, or use attraction because it's much faster by 1 second less, and you have more damage All skills are 10% more damaging, and you got at the bottom for core actuation those skills which also do more damage. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the skill combo slide. Here we go. And welcome. So before we get into what you're looking at with the list of skill combos, let me tell you where you can find it. During gameplay, if you tap on the menu screen and you go over and you tap on skills on the right hand side, and now the skills screen appears, and you look to the middle of that screen and come down, you'll see a magnifying glass with a circle around it, and it will say skill combos to the right of it. You tap on that and a small window will appear that says skill combos, or list of skill combos. You'll need to scroll up and down to see them all. So what I have done is I've taken all of those skills and I put them on one screen for you to print out or have on another monitor, or just any way you want to do it, so that you have it to look at and see what it's all about. Now that you know where it's at, let's show you how this works. On the left hand side in blue is the skills that Pearl Abyss recommends. Now these are recommendations. This is not the end all and this is it for combos. As you learn your character, you'll be able to create your own combos and what you like to do. So on the left hand side in blue is what they recommend you start with, and then in gray is what it chains into, or the next skill you would select. So for example, at the top left corner where it says recoil, you start with that, and you have the option to choose one small step, spatial rend, or home run. Now, if you choose, say for example, one small step, then you look to the left and down in blue where it says one small step, and you can then choose to do the next skill, which is gravity field. This is how it works. Recoil to one small step to gravity field. You're looking in blue if there's a gravity field, and there is, it's off to the right. So now that you tapped on gravity field, the next skill is partial black hole. So you tap on that, and if you look to the bottom left corner, oh look, there it is. My next skill is spatial rend. So tap on spatial rend, and at the top right is spatial rend, and it loops into one small step again. So that is how this works as an example. And I normally give you a, well, here's a 4 or 5 hit combo that you can do, but it looks like the opposite is gravity anchor in blue on the left hand side to attraction, dead ends. Hammer throw on the right hand side to attraction, dead ends. It looks like almost every other thing you can do in blue turns into that loop of spatial rend, one small step, gravity field, partial black hole, and back to spatial rend. So that loop is what I'm talking about, and that's fine. This is a really good combo to get the hang of, and then when you get the hang of all the skills, create your own. That's what Pearl Abyss wants you to do. So now that you know how that works, take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the next slide, which is the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome. If you are new to my enhancement slide, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of the skills that Scholar has. On the far right hand side is the branch damage connected to all of those skills, and then in the center, going from left to right, is 4 columns that are enhancements for each skill. Now the third one, so from left to right, is a column I try to make enhancements that affect the creatures or the player's character you are fighting. So those are negative things that happen to them. It's not meant for you to go, why would I ever want to reduce my target my AP or DP? No, that column I'm trying to set it for only negative things towards creatures or someone you're fighting against. Now, the other thing is I want to call your attention to the gravity field skill towards the bottom and then go all the way over to the right where it says heal 170 HP per hit. The word heal is colored differently because it does not apply in the section of the game called Path of Glory. So it works everywhere else when you unlock it and you are using it except for Path of Glory. Now, enhancements. If you're on the skill screen and you tap on a skill and the icon for it moves over to the left and you see these circles around that icon, those are enhancements to that skill. So for example, if we take the very first one, attraction, and there are 4 things you can unlock. Usually it'll either be just silver that you pay to unlock it, or there might be a level required. Now you want to level up all of your skills as high as they will go, and sometimes the enhancement needs that skill to be a certain level indicated in red. So like a red number, say 2. That means that throughout the game in Elion and Hadum and wherever you go, you'll get these skill books and you learn. It's random. You can't just go to a specific spot for a specific skill. It doesn't work that way. It's all random. However, when you get up to the point where you need more skill books, like gold ones, which are really good, go to a section of the game called Valor. You can find this when you open up the menu during gameplay. Look to the left hand side where it says Expedition, tap on it, and then you'll see the option for Valor. And it requires water, desert water to get in. And once you're in and you're doing the fight, you will notice that you are getting gold skill books, a lot of them. So this is where I go to get my gold books when I want to level up my skills, and I'm recommending you do the same. Now, when you have actually the goal of the enhancements slide is for you to see everything that you can unlock. So it will take time and you can now plan it out. Like, hey, I do PvP, I want all of the bleed to be unlocked. Oh look, there's one for gravity press, there's one for spatial rend, and what else can I do because I'm PvP style? Well, I want to reduce the person I'm fighting, so I want the 3rd column. That's pretty much almost all of those enhancements for all those skills. This is a way for you to see everything on one screen without having to go to every skill and see what every skill has. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is called the player card slide. Here we go. And welcome. This is the player card slide. It is like a baseball card. It is all of the slides you previously saw, all combined onto one screen. You can print this out, have it on another monitor, and just view it. This is everything that I am showing you about this character, all wrapped up in one, and it has some new stuff to it. So let's tell you all about it. At the very top is the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend. To the right of that is something new. It's called immobilization. So whenever a skill knocks a creature or opponent down, freezes them or knocks them up in the air, you're immobilizing them, meaning it takes time for them to get up, be ready to attack again. This is a good thing because you'll have the option to get in another attack. So if you immobilize them, that could be the difference in the fight of you winning because you got a good shot on them and they're immobilized. What you're looking at is that partial black hole, home run, and gravity field have 2 immobilizations. And if you're like, I still don't know what you mean, let's look at partial black hole. Go down to the skills right below it, see partial black hole, look all the way over to the right under specials. So it will stun on the first hit, and it knocks them back on the last hit. Those are 2 immobilizations. Now there is a scenario where this would not affect them, and I'll get to that. So you want to throw as many immobilizations as you possibly can. So partial black hole, home run, and gravity field are the 3 skills I would use if you're in a PvP setting. And then all the others have 1 immobilization. So if you want 8 skills, round it out and then cycle through them to give yourself a good chance that you will get an immobilization in on the person you're fighting. You already know about the skills, and you just heard about the enhancements below, and at the bottom is the legend for what's not applied at Path of Glory, like the heal, and what's not applied in Arena, like the red words in specials. So now we come to the definition of forward guard and super armor. Forward guard. This means incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Picture like a shield, an invisible shield in front of you that's pretty big, like a tower shield, like Nova's, and they're attacking you straight on. That damage is going to be 0 damage all the time or heavily reduced. But if they get behind you or off to the sides maybe, then they can damage you. So you always want them in front. Super armor. This is the bread and butter of PvP. This means that incoming damage will be reduced and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. Now we do have icons that kind of indicate that a player has super armor active, so kind of be wary of what that looks like if you're doing PvP. And throw the immobilizations at them so that when that moment when their super armor is not active, you get it in, you'll see that they get knocked down, get that extra hit in so you can be ahead and possibly win the match. And that is how the player card works. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to a gameplay video where we show you what Scholar can do. Here we go. And welcome! Before we get started showing you the gameplay, let us show you where we are at. We are over here in Balanos, and we are at the location of Kron Castle entrance. And we're here, well, because we're always here. Their CP is 2,519, and ours is a measly 38,321. She'll be fine. The way this works is we tap on the auto path for Kron Castle entrance. She'll fight for about a minute, maybe 2, at which point we'll go to town. I'll give my outro and say thank you. So, it is my pleasure to present to you the class Scholar. Here we go. And it's just about time for us to head back to town. There we go. And while the loading screen comes up, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the videos on this channel, please like, subscribe, let people know I am always making more videos, and there are always more videos left to do. So what we do here is we zoom in and put a really nice background for Scholar, and now we try out a few things like her saying hello, so her wave. Nope, that wasn't it. Nope, let's try that again. There it is. That's nice. And we also see what she's like when she claps, just to see if it's different. That's cool too. So we'll probably do that a few more times. Once again, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much, and you have a great day. Take care. Bye now.